Ah! Why the fuck do I always clear my throat when the video starts? Anyways, motherfuckers, or fookers, as I like to say. That's Fookers. Anyways. Yeah, somebody mentioned, like, I got a comment on part 2 of my warm-up videos saying I love the way, like, they think they're gonna fucking be my biggest fan because they love my random burps and noises and laughing and what other retarded shit I do. And then somebody else told me on my poll to never change. And for any future fans watching, if you're wondering whether this is a bit, no, that's just me. Unfortunately, this is just who I am, right? I'm also very aware of what my bit is. I can literally fake my laugh. No, wait, I fucked it up. There you go, that's the real one. Yeah, see, like I can do it. Anyways, this probably hurt many of your ears and you've all clicked off by this point. So the real ones, right? The people who somehow care about what I have to say. Technically, you more so care about what I have to do, so I should get to doing, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, no, this is not a bit. This is my personality. I do like making a lot of stupid jokes, right? I usually try to not piss off my friends, but just try to keep coming up with more and more retarded shit to say until they're tired of me. And in the beginning, it's always like, oh wow, this guy's kind of funny. Oh, and he's jacked, smart, good looking, so verbose. And at the end of it, they're like, where the fuck's my gun? Put a bullet in this piece of shit's head. So, with that being said, today we are doing the cars, or today, now we're doing the cars workout from Artwod. It's just called cars. They have zero creative name for this. It's just cars, you know, fucking crazy scooters, cute bot, sci-fi loot box. No, this is just cars. So yeah. And the thing I did earlier today, which will be the previous video, like yesterday's video, or however this is scheduled. Yeah, the previous video was warming up, but it was actually trying to stack things, boxes and cylinders, in the same perspective, but as like a scene, right? That has inspired me that in as much of my practices as possible, I should try making things a scene, right? So in this case, the first step of this assignment, which I'm gonna get to now because I've been fucking talking forever, is draw 3 boxes with 2 cylinders attached to each box, which is just a simple form for a car, right? But where do we see cars? We see cars on roads, right? That's where we see cars. So, yeah, see, that's not intentional. I'm just a very gastric individual. But we see cars on roads, so why don't we try to keep in mind that this car exists with other cars, right? That's probably more important than anything, is that it's never just a car, all right? It's never just boxes and cylinders. Also, I do apologize, Tyrion, or Broken Draw, but I may not take your advice to the fullest, because he gave me, like, he suggested, like, at my level of fundamentals, I should just start drawing from imagination, right? And asked him how should I go about that, and he has recently responded saying try scaffolding. Scaffolding is basically, he's like, don't just immediately try doing it all at once, because that is very difficult, and I agree, that is very difficult, but I'm gonna try doing it all at once anyways, because I really like torturing myself and my brain. You know, it's fun, and it keeps me in check. Like this, look, I fucked this up, right? This is misaligned, but that's okay. That's fine, I think. And again, if we were to bring this out, maybe, no, we wouldn't really see this side. But I do want to try different sizes of these quote-unquote wheels on the box, right? I do want to make it seem as if they're all within the same scene, right? Like this is just, we're just looking at a bunch of shit going on here, you know? Like for example, and it's difficult, it's very difficult, don't get me wrong. I could do something like, because my horizon line is somewhere here, right? There's just, horizon line is somewhere, well yeah, like up above here, there's a bunch of vanishing points, right? The main thing is the horizon line is consistent, and I believe the bottom vanishing point for how I'm doing it should be relatively consistent. Like, but for this, for the sake of this, let's just say like it's somewhere way off the page, right? That's what I have to imagine. So with that in mind, it helps keep everything else in check. But you also have to think about the fact that if I'm looking at this from top down, there's going to be a bunch of cars that maybe, or quote unquote cars, that won't really fit the scene too well. Like, let's say there's something back here, right? And this is gonna be a big ass truck. So, and by the way, this is literally like what their old, like what I'm doing right now is what their old beginner roadmap was like when it came to drawing boxes and cylinders in a similar perspective. So what I'm doing is nothing new regarding their old manner of teaching. But yeah, like I do like torturing myself. I do really like thinking hard. And again, I'm making it even more difficult because I'm fucking narrating while I'm doing this. Is that necessary? No. In fact, I should never fucking narrate while I draw, but here I am. Right? Because why not just try to train... Fuck that line up. Why not just try to train like Kim Jong-il while I'm at it, even if I'm not him? But the concept of scaffolding that Tyrion was talking about is mainly just, you know, first, for example, if you're trying to draw, first you start with pencil, with guidelines, then you remove the pencil and you switch to fine liner, and then you remove the fine liner and you switch to brush pen, right? Fine liner would make you more, is a more permanent medium because it's ink, right? It's indelible. And then if you move past that, brush pen is just even finer control of lines. Something like that. A bit inaccurate, but again, this is, and the most important thing is while this is all happening, I'm really focusing on just visualizing and thinking about perspective at all times, right? And that's the extremely hard part. And I actually really appreciate Tyrion's guidance. And one thing he said specifically, which is drawing from imagination is really fucking hard, right? It's really hard. So this is why we need all the crutches we can. But I like to do it the complete opposite way, which is completely remove all the crutches and then deal with the consequences, like this completely off perspective cylinder that I've just drawn. Right, that's a choice I made. I'm going to deal with that choice. But yeah, okay, let me just rest on my brain. Yeah, this is actually very difficult, but I've been slowly training my brain to enjoy the difficulty, right? And that's actually funny enough. I think it's working. I literally think it's working, because oh wait, oh there you go. Goddamn. If you guys think that's impressive, my sister's burps are literally fucking 10 times longer and louder. It's incredible. Scary, but incredible. But yeah, thinking about the same perspective is very difficult, but Jesus Christ, bro. Well, whoever that commenter was, sorry, everybody has such fucking unique names with a bunch of goddamn numbers and letters. I can't remember this shit. But you know who you are, right? If you do watch this video, you definitely know who you are, right? Again, thank you for the commenting community. So, yeah, it's very difficult, but it's really fun. It's really fun, especially when you have to think, right? We all hate thinking, but I actually enjoy it quite a bit because I've trained myself to enjoy it quite a bit. And it's just about kind of seeing what I need to see currently and doing my best to commit to it, right? Because now, is this in the same perspective? Maybe not. May have fucked it up a little bit, actually, right? Again, I'm just doing my best. And the best part is, whether I succeed or not, I'm still getting the assignment, the first step done, which is drawing the boxes with the cylinders attached, right? But obviously adding an extra layer of purpose is also very helpful. Actually, no, I think this is actually great. I can make it more unique after this, I think. But yeah. just like that, and then we can make this long. Or we can do something like this. Now this is not part of the assignment, but again, there are cars with unique shapes, are there not? And we can pander to those. The real question is what this would look like from this angle. Maybe something like that, right? This can be the, I guess, the wheel covering. It's not really kind of what it's not what that's actually not what I meant to do, but it's okay. And this is kind of, wait, it's like very slight. I think you would see it. Again, mix of intuition and actually trying to think about it, right? So what the fuck would this wheel look like? Would it be like this? Right? That. Like that. Well, it's not attached, so that's definitely a mistake, but this is how we get our practice in, right? So we can have an even larger wheel over here. And again, trying to visualize what this would look like if I were actually here, right? See, now I can tell that's completely fucking off. It should be much lower, completely off, right? Same thing if we were just to that. Now, what about this wheel? Well, nothing changes on that front, so I think it would still be like that, maybe? This is obviously completely off, right? But we're gonna live with that mistake. Let's not alter that, right? And now, maybe I can add something like, again, to make it seem as if it's all part of the same plane, right? They're all going towards the same thing, even if they're looking slightly different. We can add so I want to do something like this. Right, and that's gonna go. It's gonna be like this. Right? I mean, the second step technically says to bevel, but I might as well just start a little bit right now. And again, this isn't really meant to be anything, by the way. I'm just doing vague car-like shapes to help my understanding of constructing within the same space. Right? And that's really what I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of all of this being in the same space. And it's actually, I think it's going pretty decently, because this is extremely difficult, right? Just like your boy Broken Draw said, this is extremely difficult. So we shouldn't judge ourselves too harshly when we find it to be difficult, right? It's the main thing. And again, this technically, because if it's in front, I'm just going to overlap it. Because that way it's still going to retain being in the same plane. Yeah, just overlap it like so. we have the wheel. So yeah, it's overlapped, therefore it doesn't look like it's underneath it, it's in front of it, right? And now that is great, because that we can, now it still all looks like these are kind of in the relatively same plane, which is what I'm going for, which is the main goal of this, is the fact that I just got to keep that in mind, right? I'm not creating anything specific, I don't think, but I am trying to keep all of that in mind as I go forward. So like this wheel, even, we could just do a bigger version of this one, right? And it really just takes a couple of these shapes to make it look more interesting, I think. Because, let's see, this is kind of not going to be big enough, I think, right? If I were to leave it like, something like that. It's a bit off. I lost the perspective a little bit for a second. Same there. Just give up, bro. Just give up. Whatever. Let's give up on that. But I do want to make sure that it's clear that this thing is now, again, perspective was a bit off. Attaching to that, right? You want it to be roughly. So what we can do here is continue revising. Just make it a bit longer. And ta-da! Right, now how does this attach? We could just attach it like so. There you go. See? Makes sense. Same thing on the other side. Like that. And I think it's still starting to look like they're all within the same scene. Let me just take a break. I'll finish the other side and I'll continue. Yeah, on one hand, it's actually very difficult to talk while drawing. And on the other hand, if I direct my words, I'm actually kind of reinforcing what I'm learning, you know? And that's one of the biggest things I keep trying to do as I draw. Oh, fuck, I dropped my water bottle. But yeah, like that's one of the things I'm trying to do, right? It's like, oh, okay, perspective, this is the scene, perspective, right? As long as I keep sort of saying it out to myself while I ghost it, of course, it makes it a bit easier to keep it in line, right? Again, like I keep saying perspective, right? Like follow the perspective, I'm following the perspective. What that's doing is reinforcing me to follow the perspective, right? Surprise, surprise. So yeah, and again, like there are issues here, but I think I'm getting better overall at sort of imagining the scene and how it should be. Again, like keeping this aligned. When I say that, I'm reminding myself, hey, keep it aligned, right? Like how does this relate to this? Well, it's kind of like right on it, right? Right attached to it. It's just a sort of helmet more than anything. This one's a bit different, but for the sake of consistency, right? Something like that. You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's like doing this while also visualizing. Obviously, these are all different skills, and I'm gonna keep reiterating that art is a skill, all right? Everybody, let's get that in our heads. Art is a skill. It's not a talent, it's a skill. Everything is a skill. Art specifically is a skill though, all right? And you need to get that in your head, and you need to believe that with all your heart. And the thing is, it's not even that difficult to believe. You know, think about anybody that's actually a good artist. Are you really gonna call them talented when all they do is post how much work they've put on any social media or whatever? Is that too long? because it stops right around here. Yeah, that is too long. I actually should have stopped when I initially stopped it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this detail is unnecessary, but I'm doing it anyways, whatever. Same with this. These are just little things that help me understand the perspective in my mind a little bit better. Didn't even need to draw that so complicated, but let's go back to some simpler boxes. But I do want to keep it. I do want to keep this sort of theme in mind, right? So in the same vein, just thinking of something right now. Right, again, like we're trying to think about believability in the scene, right? And while that may be difficult, maybe it can still be done. You know? Right now, what am I doing? I'm just trying to make this wheel look more believable in the scene. I'm trying to create some sort of something. And I get what Broken Draw is trying to say. You're gonna get a fucking aneurysm if you just try to do all of this at once. But I challenge all of you to actually think even harder, you know? Because it's through that thinking that you're actually going to see the change. Be the change you want to be in the world. Mahatma Einstein. Right? And maybe there's just a little attachment right there. And maybe this is that attachment too. This one doesn't really make too much sense yet, because I might add something that creates a bit more believability, such as this. Hopefully creates a bit more believability. Again, it's trying to think about the entire perspective and everything, right? Does this look like a vehicle of sorts? Not really, but I think maybe it does look like it's sharing the same space as these. We could do like smaller versions here, right? If we just add a oh wait, does that look like it's part of the same space? I think I can make it look like it's part of the same space. I think. This is in front, this is behind, right? Something like that. Right? I mean, it's difficult, don't get me wrong. I'm trying my best, just clearly not enough, but I love doing that voice. No! Don't give him the... I forgot what the line was, but that's your boy Super Kami Guru. But, and then maybe, again, like we're trying to make this all the same space, right? So, I'm just trying to make sense of it all. That's the main thing. What the fuck? I guess we're just creating the Cybertruck. Does that make sense? We're about to find out. Again, it doesn't matter because again, the main point of this exercise is specifically just to create multiple of these. Only 3 technically, but at this point you must be all well aware that I'm not one to shy away from repetition, right? So 3 is not enough. 30 maybe, 300 better. This just looks like a shitty Cybertruck. But again, this may not be the best because this doesn't really look like it's behind this. This definitely looks like it's behind, and this kind of does. But we may need people. We may need other things to sort of reinforce that. But I think it definitely looks relatively like it's a general space that's being shared, but some things are off, which is better than looking like none of it is shared. Right? So it's still progress. But yeah, let's be creative. Let's think about other ways we could create some sort of box rectangular contraption, right? Maybe something like okay, I gotta be very careful with how I do this, but I also do want to visualize it. Just thinking right now. So I got this. Got this. Maybe this. Right? This seems to look like it's sharing that space. But does it actually? Maybe it could have been a bit lower. Like here. Something like that. That doesn't seem too right. I mean, that's actually technically a bit off, right? Should have been more this way, but I was trying to account for maybe the fact that it doesn't look too legit. But, I mean, that's fine. Just trying to think about how this encompasses the entire space, right? Because I believe it would look like that if I'm going purely off of my visual memory of sorts. Let's just say this is just attached to it for some reason, right? We could just, there you go, we added an attachment, right? And then let's just add a cutout just to make it look more interesting, sure. But that's attached there. It's coming out this way, so it's coming out quite a bit. There you go. Now that does not look like it's behind this. Actually, it just comes down to scale, right? This could technically just be much larger than this, right? So I think my biggest issue is likely not how I'm placing things, but likely not establishing a consistent proportion, right? So for example, if I were to put this back here in a different angle, it should be smaller, like this exact one, right? It should be much smaller, or at least smaller enough that we can establish scale, right? Isn't that the goal? So yeah, same one. But see, okay, yeah, I think this one makes more sense because the scale has been established to be slightly smaller, right? Because now we get a sense of distance. So while many of the things I drew, like the contraptions or whatever, may look like they may technically all be in the same space, but because I haven't established oh, funny enough, do you see how crazy that is? Just by drawing the same thing back here, we've established this thing's size in relative to like how far away it is, and now all of this looks more legit. I still think this one's actually incorrect, for sure. But that's crazy. Now this actually is all starting to look like it's sharing relatively the same space because I just established the scale here. That's insane. Anyways, let me rest my brain. At least I think it's starting to look more along those lines. I don't want to say anything definitive because somebody will be like, actually, you didn't do it right. I fucking know. Look at my lines. Look at my drawings. I fucking know I didn't do it right. God damn it. Oh god. But yeah, how long has it been? How long have I been drawing for? Wow, it's only been half an hour? Damn, dude. That's pretty good. Okay, more interesting car-like Jesus, shapes. So, maybe I should draw something over here in a completely different angle so far, right? I haven't really done something like this. So this is gonna be closer, right? There you go. So now we've established that this is gonna be much closer. Now the question is, what does the wheel look like? So like that. And then we can do that. By the way, that was really hard for me to get down in the beginning. Just understanding the perspective of the wheel. And that was what, like months and months of just trying to think about it. And now it's slightly better. But okay, so we have something like this. Now we just need to commit to understanding it. Perhaps I'm just trying to think because I already made it go down. It doesn't make much sense. Probably shouldn't have done that. But you see, I make mistakes all the fucking time. I mean, it's evident if you if you pay attention to anything on this channel, you know I make mistakes all the time. Right? Maybe it should be like this. I don't even know what that means anymore, but whatever. It's going down. And then it's like that. That's way too of a drastic curve. We should try visualizing this a bit better while also keeping this perspective in mind. Okay, we got something like this. Something like this, right? And now, how do we make sure this car actually makes sense? Well, we can just do this, right? Now look at that. We got a larger car in the same perspective whilst we just should probably do something like this. This, what is this, like a car door or some shit? Sure. And then again here. Well, this is not so much looking like a car anymore, but whatever. It's a fucking box thing with wheels, right? That's what we're trying to focus on for the time being, right? But I'll be on this workout for a while. This is gonna be these 4 things that I'm practicing, the workouts, moving forward, right? Which is crazy scooters, cute bot. You can't see me doing the fucking fingering, and that's pun not intended. That's just how you say it, right? It's funny whenever I mention piano, and I'm like, oh, like, is my fingering okay? And anytime I tell anybody, be like, oh, like, and the fingering is difficult, they're like, oh, you said fingering. I'm like, oh, I know, right? And then I move on, and they don't seem to move on. So, you know, it's odd. But yes, it's gonna be crazy scooters, cute bots, sci-fi loot box, and cars. Those are the 4 things I'm going to focus on for until I feel as if I'm decently proficient in them, right? I feel as if those hard surface things and the designing of those will translate greatly to any other hard surface design thing, right? They're pretty varied enough. Cars and scooters are different enough, but have their own unique shapes. A sci-fi loot box is basically a chest which you can come up with infinite ways how it opens, and you know, robots are just fucking based on anatomy and like all these other cool things as well, right? So I think it should be fine. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. Okay, now we need another wheel here, right? Well, first, let's see, this wheel, it's coming out. There you go. That's basically all we're seeing on that end. We're not seeing much else than that, right? If we want, we can draw through, but there's no point in that, right? This is kind of a boring ass shape, I'm not gonna lie. I could have done better with this. Because, well, like, let's see what the more unique ones were. This was pretty unique. This is definitely the most unique one. This was an interesting idea. This was okay. These are just like the basic ones, right? But you see how it's all starting to kind of, I hope, looking a bit more like a scene, right? But that's the intent, at least, you know? Yeah, I feel like at least a decent amount of these are kind of like, okay, like they're all encapsulated within a specific spot together, and that's what I'm going for, right? We could do the same thing here. I obviously fucked up the perspective here, so just ignore that. But yeah, just to give this thing more of an interesting shape design, I'm just gonna add this. Again, it's not as if I know what shape design means, per se, but we use it a lot, so I might as well pretend like I know what it means, right? But here, you see, now it's actually starting to look pretty decent. My spatial reasoning, just from thinking hard as shit, it has gotten a decent amount better, for sure, right? Just contour line that. Again, it's all about however you visualizing it in your head, right? That's all that matters. Is you just got to see it a certain way that makes sense to you. If you can't visualize, either keep practicing until you improve it, or genuinely you may have aphantasia. But I would honestly, again, suggest not believing that until you get to a point where, like, bro, like, my spatial reasoning is really good, but I just have, no matter how much I understand shapes, I can't see it. Then obviously you have it, right? But from what I know, it affects a very small subset of people. It might just be bias as well, right? Maybe just those who do have it are more prone to stating that they have it, right? But I think we should all give ourselves a fair shot, and drawing from imagination can take many I'm gonna make this wheel thinner just so it doesn't fuck with this. You see, this way it can be in front, and this is like intentional, obviously. right? Yeah, this way it still looks as if it's in the same scene. I could draw over it, but let's try to maintain the cleanliness of this for as much as we can, right? Yeah, it's okay if you do have aphantasia too. There are many incredible artists with aphantasia. I honestly think it's just about uh, the skill set rather than any particular one ability, right? And the ability itself is part of the skill set. What the fuck am I saying, anyways? To make this thing look slightly more interesting, let's just add some shit. Like this. So it's like, wow, there's so many lines. It's so interesting. When in reality, you're just being fooled? Look at that. What does that mean? Absolutely fucking nothing. Maybe I could add like headlights? Right? Maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. And fucking, I guess like a door, right? But I'm really excited for cute bots specifically, because the understanding of pivots and hinges are gonna do a lot for design. Because, bro, like I've literally started seeing that shit everywhere, you know, and it's really cool. It's really cool to see it. Sure, I guess that's a door, right? Maybe should have. There you go. Something like that. I don't fucking know. Yeah, whatever. This one doesn't need. Maybe we should focus on more compact, intricate designs. I want to do something really annoying. Let's add a. I want to add one more thing, but let me actually rest my brain. But this is good. I'm trying to think about the overall perspective as much as possible. Okay. I want to do something that may be difficult, but I want to add a tiny little thing here, which makes it seem even more as if they're all within the same perspective. But it may be difficult because I want to. Let's see. This is difficult. This has to be very tiny. There you go. I literally just wanted to add a small scooter. So now we can even scale this even higher. It's like, okay, if some sort of scooter looking thing is this small, right? Then these must be much larger perspective. And it sort of brings a sense of scale, I would like to think. Right? Like, even if I were just to add maybe just a wheel here, right? Now this wheel could very definitely, apart from having absolute shit lines, fuck up the perspective. But if I try to keep it in mind, wow, okay, see, yeah, that's all starting to kind of, now I think that's actually what's lost in translation. This over here more than anything, but it's like parts of it starting to look cohesive and like they're a whole, right? Not the butthole, the visual whole, right? This is what we're talking about, not this. That's a fart. That looks like a smiley face. What the fuck? That's a fart. That just looks like a fucking even more retarded smiley face. Jesus Christ. But anyways, it's nice. I can actually submit this fucking finally to artwod because everything is so digital based. I mean, they have a lot of submissions and things that you can send, but I don't know. I just don't like doing that. That's my I guess that's on me. But okay, I want to add something here that's part of this perspective, but still its own thing. And in front, let's give it a handle, why don't we? And this could very well fuck things up drastically. The best way to fuck things up. Again, I'm constantly, to the best of my ability, and let's say I do this maybe 40% of the time, trying to think about this overall plane and perspective that I've created, right? Whether I understand it well or not is obviously up to each final result, but we're not focused on the result. We're focused on the process of just making this attempt. Antonio constantly talks about that, and I genuinely admire that sort of, yeah, like that mindset, right? Which is, yeah, just focus on the process. Anyways, I'm too busy focusing on the process to finish my sentence, clearly. But my neck is fucking hurting. Okay. But so how do I undo this? I want it to be right here. That's where I want the wheel to be. But we need to think of more interesting ways to have a wheel. So something like this. Oh no, that's too short. I feel as if I'm missing, because I want it to come down here, so actually maybe we could. See, I think I lost the perspective there. And obviously I did some weird thing here. Like that line is just a mistake. But again, if we were just to... This is actually, imagining this is very difficult, so let me take a step back. This is probably the most difficult one, and I think I definitely lost the perspective here. And maybe there's a way to salvage it. I don't think there is. Then again, it's just how well do I know the rules if I'm gonna break them, right? There you go. Now that looks more like a tire. Here's my usual little fucking tire pattern. But something went wrong here, which we need to obviously take in mind. Which is, it's not coming around exactly how I want it to, but I think maybe I can salvage this, right? I'm trying to think. This is actually probably the most difficult it's been, because this is such a different shape than any other shape, but If I foreshorten it drastically, that might actually help. Drastically foreshorten, so something like that maybe. And then I don't think that works. Yeah, I should have this angle. It's the tire angle actually. Should have been a bit different. Should have been more like this one. But hey, honestly, overall, it's still looking pretty okay in terms of a cohesive scene, right? And that's what matters. Again, let's do another simple, I guess. Maybe if I just tried. Does that kind of tie it together a little bit? Maybe. Maybe. But anyways, let's just do an actual car shape, right? So what if I wanted a car that was actually like we just saw the top of? Because it's clear that it's kind of all starting to converge right in the middle, but in the point, right? I guess that's what I've been doing without meaning to. But that doesn't mean I have to be tied down to that, right? Why I made that shape? For shits and giggles. Might as well try something new with the car shape, right? Yeah, see? Now this is still here. But I made a much thicker wheel out of it. Like that. Then we can have this come up like that, right? Something like that. Same thing here. I fucked it up a little bit. I'm just trying to think, right? The main thing is we're just trying to think about everything, about anything, specifically about nothing at all. Right? Do these look like... Well, good news, this still looks like it's part of the same area, roughly. But, again, I think the wheels are missing something, obviously. But Yeah, thank you, Broken Draw, for the exercise earlier today, right? Putting things into perspective, in that, or putting things into similar perspectives, because that really does help. The next part of this exercise is actually to round these shapes off, anyways. So I'm just kind of working on that, but a little earlier than planned. This is actually pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. This isn't what I exactly had in mind. I thought I would do things like cars all going this way, and then underneath they're following a perspective, and then this way. But obviously I think more advanced in terms of what I want. I think we all do. And then what I get is a bit more a beginner, right? I don't know. This could maybe be like a holding cell or some shit. Always trying to think about the perspective the scene it resides in and what else it could entail. You know, this looks okay, but I don't think this makes it as clear that these are supposed to be touching the same ground, because that could have been larger. So maybe like this. It's a beautiful thing about ellipses. You can just make shit up. Okay, see, now that looks like it's touching the same ground. So if I just bring that logic over here, yeah, see, same thing. Ta-da! Now they roughly, I think, look like they're sort of balancing themselves, and then we got the wheel on the other side that you don't see. Okay, it's been 57 minutes. So now I gotta think of a way to tie it all together. This just looks like these fuckers in the middle are being ganged up by these things on the side, which I wasn't trying to do. Right? Maybe, but this is great. The more I can sort of have things look like they're in the same perspective, the better it will be in the long run, right? And the more I do different perspectives, this is a top down, again, horizon lines up here, we're seeing the top of these, right? So horizon line was about down here, we'd be seeing the bottom down here, yeah. And then, but it's the top, we're seeing it from around this view, right? The vanishing point's somewhere starting here and then going down. Roughly everything's kind of converging to it, right? Again, double, like a little bit of intuition, a little bit of my own thing, right? I feel as if maybe I should just add something here to make this look like not as shit of a shape. What if we just added another cylinder? And then made this go around like a form intersection, right? There you go. That already looks a little bit better. But we can just curve it as well. Whatever. It's all shit anyways. But honestly, again, thank you, Broken Draw. Jesus, guys. Watch this video on the 25 exercises, and specifically, it's about putting things in the same perspective while keeping them in the plane, right? Putting things in different, like making them oriented differently while keeping them in the same perspective. For example, I could have something like, let's break the mold here. Like this. Right. Still technically in the same perspective. And then we can have it be like so. Right? This looks like it's kind of behind this. I think. I always give the worst goddamn examples. Okay, nobody's learning shit from me. Just go to artwod. All right, this is again. It's never shilling. They will teach it. Antonio will teach it 10 times better than I ever could. Right. I'm just trying to apply it. Like, what the fuck? I think I actually fucked this up too. This completely fucks with everything. But either way. Yeah, see, and then maybe if I have a wheel here. Not a wheel, I guess. Just put a box here, right? This box is behind this card thing. But also, all in the same perspective. Right? Same thing here. This is actually going to be difficult, but maybe I could actually exaggerate the foreshortening. Maybe? Fuck, I think I was supposed to foreshorten it the other way. Yeah, I was supposed to be the other way. But, what is it? It's been an hour? Yeah, it's been an hour. Okay, you know what? Why don't we do one more? Let me take a break. I want to do one more here and really think about this overall perspective. But it's it gets a bit easier because once you start establishing a couple items that are oriented differently but within a relative perspective, it starts to be easier to add other things to that, right? Because then now you keep reinforcing, okay, like vanishing point down here, horizon line down there, right? Vanishing point lefts and rights don't really matter in this context. Technically they could, right? If I really wanted to, I could have made it a curvilinear perspective, but I'm not doing that right now because just like Broken Draw said, scaffolding, baby, scaffolding. You know, you really want to ease into it. But anyways, let me rest my brain. Okay, cool. Trying to think. I should probably just keep it basic. Like, I keep saying I should keep it basic, and then I never fucking do. Which is, I guess, just how I operate nowadays, it seems. Yeah, guys, my visualizing is actually getting better. It's crazy. The more effort you put into it, the better you get. Who would have fucking thought, right? Who would have thought? I don't even think. I thought that was a pretty rare concept in of itself. But I actually want to try something. Why don't we same hinge thing here, right? Okay. But how would it look like if it was open? Right? And then it's open, guys. Would you look at that? It looks pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. That works. And we get to keep perspective in mind. So let's keep doing that. Maybe instead of drawing something here, we could just practice reinforcing perspective, right? And of course, I will make more unique hinges as my knowledge improves on how to make unique hinges. See, something like that. I guess. Okay, we'll leave it for now. Can I do one more? I keep fucking flip-flopping, and this is always fun, right? I could, but it's like, what should I do? Maybe I could do this, but actually try to commit to it. Well, it's clear I've already started affecting the perspective here, so actually the vanishing point's probably closer. It's kind of going this way, but I did fuck it up a little bit here. It's funny though, because everything kind of blends together, is that if it's relatively consistent, even all the tiny mistakes that go all together won't look so bad. But let's think of a shape first. Let's think of something interesting. I think I have something in mind. Similar to this, but before anything, let me because I want it to be facing this way. Yeah, I want it to be facing this way. So no, this one's already facing this way. Maybe we should have it face it this way. Let's I'm going to try something. Let's see if it works. Something like that. Okay, that's not too bad right now. Oh, but it's already fucked because this is not gonna look consistent to this. Okay, that's okay. Well, since I already fucked it up. Right. At this point, I'm just making shit up, guys. There was no forethought here. Right. Whatever. Yeah, this doesn't really work out too well, but just trying to think where I could take this. Ah, fuck that up. Yeah, it's connected. Stop! Connected already, god damn it. Well, if we're gonna do that side, let's just do this side. Give it some evenness. It won't really make sense. But then we have... This is where visualizing comes in handy. Because now it's just a giant tire that it attaches to. Yeah, I didn't really visualize this at all. I thought I did, but what I've created here was not what I had in mind whatsoever. So yes, even a god like me can make mistakes. Who would have thought? But let's clean up this line. Cool. But yeah, did my best to try to keep everything relatively within the same perspective. Right, many mistakes were made. It's definitely not that coherent. But for a first attempt, or technically a second attempt now, because I did something like this earlier today, and for creating vehicle-like shapes, right? So all that crazy scooter practice and generally just what this program has to offer has come to fruition to a relative degree. And with that being said, right, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed. Apparently, I actually have people who enjoy my content now. So you know, if you did, yeehaw! And if you didn't, what the fuck is the opposite of a yeehaw? Yeah, probably something like that, like a fucking donkey. So, kill me. Anyways, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please, give me money.